Hello my viewers and welcome to my channel. Have you ever thought giving someone a compliment would be perceived as bad? Well, it turns out that not all compliments are meant to make people blush after all. Some compliments can be good and some might be offensive. Today I have a very interesting video that went viral on TikTok of my sister complaining of not being happy with a compliment from her white colleague at work. In this video, this white lady is heard complimenting this beautiful black woman's hair, but what is more interesting is her sarcastic way of doing it. But I guess it wasn't just a good day for such a compliment, and my black sister was just like, no today. Are you telling me that you want to miss this gist? Of course not. So come with me as we watch what happened on a day which was just meant to start off as a beautiful day at work.
In the front. Yeah.
Hey, love, how are you?
See, how are you? She came in with pretty curls. Now she came
Can
in
you
with...
please not talk about when I switch up my hair?
I think it's beautiful.
I know, but like as a black person, to me it feels like a microaggression. I deal with it all the time at work, and you can make that
I
face.
do the same thing.
I know. I'm just saying, I'm telling you how it makes me feel. Everyone's different, but personally, if you like the hair, pretty hair. You don't have to like clarify that it was different each and every time, because it makes me uncomfortable.
I just like the way you changed.
I know this. I'm not looking for any excuses. It's just, it makes me uncomfortable.
Okay.
Cool.
I know some are saying that wasn't offensive and just maybe a black sister overreacted, but hello, you are not her, and we all take things differently. What can get you upset can't get the other person angry, so don't you judge. Let's get to the interesting part where people pour their hearts out by sharing their thoughts on an issue. So let's get to the stitches and talk right after these video clips.
I'm not looking for any excuses. It's just, it makes me uncomfortable. Cool.
Now, just to be clear, this girl is well within her right to not feel comfortable having people make certain comments about her body or her appearance. Everybody has aspects of their being that they may be uncomfortable with or just don't want people calling a lot of attention to, so it's okay to ask people to stop. But we gotta be self-aware and realize that if somebody calls out something that we're uncomfortable about and they do it in a complimentary way, we can't just accuse them of malicious intent because we're insecure about it. If someone is just stating the obvious by calling out your frequent hairstyle change and even complimenting it by referring to it as pretty curls, you can't just label it a microaggression because you're uncomfortable with it. Now, I understand that the subject of hair can be a pain point for black women because they may feel pressure to uphold a certain beauty standard with their hair, which may lead them to wear wigs of different styles instead of just wearing out their natural hair. I'm not at all denying the existence of that pressure or invalidating the insecurity that may exist because of that pressure. But it seems like this is a situation where the girl isn't fully aware of her own insecurity, but she does feel negative feelings about the encounter. So instead of looking inward and asking herself, why do I feel negative about that? She instead casts blame on someone who didn't really do anything wrong. Now, my assumption is that the security guard was a white person, and with that, you can probably assume that they're not too familiar with the black female experience when it comes to hair. And considering the fact that she gave a compliment and felt so comfortable doing so, it's more wise to assume that she was trying to give a nice gesture. She just did it poorly given the context. Now, like I said, the girl is well within her right to feel uncomfortable about certain remarks and ask for them to stop. But in these situations, it's just better to assume ignorance than it is to assume malicious intent from people, so nothing has to escalate. And it's better to be hyper aware of your own insecurities and pain points, so when situations like this happen, you don't automatically accuse the other person of committing a microaggression.
Because it makes me uncomfortable.
Okay, let's talk about it. So obviously I got my hair out today. My hair is kind of looking trashy because I have to wash it. So, you know, I got frizz and yeah, it's not looking great. But that's besides the point, right? So in most of my videos, no matter what I post, I always get people that comment on my hair. They're always like, oh my God, I love your curls, I love your hair, I love the style of your hair, I love the texture of your hair, etc., right? Now, clearly, I am not white. I am a person of color. So my hair would be considered ethnic, right? Because it isn't straight. It's curly because I'm an ethnic boy. Stupid terms, but you know what I mean. So I guess according to this young woman, I probably could complain as well when people comment on my TikTok or on my Instagram or on my YouTube and will comment on my curls, even though the video that I'm doing or talking about has nothing to do with hair. People will still say, oh my God, I love your hair. I love how curly your hair is, etc., right? Do you see me saying that's a microaggression? Do you see me saying I don't like the fact that you are categorizing me by my hair? Yes, I have curly hair and it's because I'm ethnic, and why are you judging me, white person? Do you see what happens when you wear the lens of race everywhere you go. It's so toxic that even when you get compliments, you find a way to make that a negative thing and about race. And your inferiority complex, by the way, because that's exactly what that is that she's displaying. See, when you find a way to make something so positive a negative, the problem is you. I just wish that we could stop making everything about race and lighten up. It's just hair. But welcome to the United States in 2023, where you can't even compliment somebody on their hair because that's considered aggression racially. How dare you? So FYI, white people, if you see an ethnic person with hair like mine or braids or any other ethnic style, just look down. Don't give us eye contact. P.S. Also notice how she was recording prior to the conversation. She was waiting for that moment. And according to her TikTok, she has limited the comments because I guess she was getting dragged, as she should be.
It's just, it makes me uncomfortable. Cool.
It just keeps going, guys. Now even a compliment is a microaggression. A woman acknowledging, hey, your hair looked one way the other day and one way today, and both are beautiful, that's racist. Like, what do you expect? Our hair will go looking like this one day and this the next, and you expect nobody to say anything or be curious or even compliment you? Either you have some deep sense of insecurity towards your hair or you truly think what she did was racist. And if it's the latter, you're wrong.
I'm telling you how it makes me feel. Everyone's different, but personally, if you like theirs, pretty hair. You don't have to like clarify.
At that very moment, I would have said, all right, then your hair looks like shit. Bye. What? They can't say they like your hair. It's a microaggression. If they say they don't like it, what is it, super aggressive? My question is, why is it that everything a white person does is considered a microaggression? Y'all can't let white people just breathe without being a microaggression to y'all. If you're that offended by white people just existing, it's a you problem. I promise you, it's not anybody else. Because nobody else feels that way. You notice that nobody comes up with this bullshit? You don't see Asian women, Indian women, white women, Mexican women. You don't see nobody else doing this shit. It seems like y'all are just coming up with shit just to be victims now. Microaggressions might be a thing, but it's not the way y'all are using it. This shit is getting ridiculous. Y'all just can't be blaming white people for your bad days.
I woke up feeling bad today. I'm gonna go into work and I'm gonna blame the first white person I see.
It feels like a microaggression.
First, I think it's important to say that her, just like every single one of us, is well within our right to be made uncomfortable by anything that we just find uncomfortable. I've seen some people like implying that this is all staged or that like she really doesn't care. I think that she genuinely does care. And while she was like a bit condescending and like the attitude wasn't all that necessary, she did communicate in a healthy way. And she wasn't being unreasonable, but I do still think that this is performative as fuck. See, if I were to be just walking by and saw this interaction take place, I'd be cool with it, right? I think that she was, you know, well within her place to establish herself and say, hey, we ain't homies, you're not my friend. Don't talk about me. Like, you know, you work here, I'm gonna walk by, just let me walk by. Like, I completely understand not wanting to be talked about in any way. Like, there are days that I don't even really want to be perceived by anyone. But it was really her association with, like, the microaggression that really just made it feel performative for me. And, you know, the fact that she just happened to be recording everything, like, right as it went down, almost like she planned for it to happen because she knew that she would get some kind of compliment on her hair. She'd finally have, like, an opportunity to, like, stand up to the evil microaggressive whitey who's, like, complimenting her hair. Overall, it does feel silly as shit, and I'm sure that there are going to be a ton of people in the comments saying, well, you don't understand the significance of like the hair. I don't give a fuck, respectfully. This is silly. It's stupid as fuck. It's a fucking compliment. Can we be serious? The woman in the video implied that this person was coming from this racist place. Understand that when you post that video, when you have that kind of relationship where you can start pre-recording because you already know what she's going to say, if you're there that often and the video goes viral, it's not going to be very hard for the people in that area to know exactly who the fuck you were talking about. Just some regular security guard woman doing her job, giving out compliments, trying to make people feel good about themselves. Now she's gonna be known as like the racist security guard bitch. Cause you wanted a couple minutes of internet clout. You wanted that like huzzah moment. Like, yeah, I did it. Congratulations. Like, I hope that these 15 minutes really do it for you.
I know, but
I feel so bad for the woman that she recorded and put on blast to the entire world for simply trying to make someone feel better about themselves. Someone that's naturally shy and struggles a lot with trying to bring myself to compliment someone when I want to. I know complimenting someone takes a lot of courage and confidence. And the fact that you have to nitpick the way she complimented you just says a lot about you more than her. I don't think there was anything wrong with the way she complimented you. Everyone is different, and you can tell that this woman, her compliment was genuine because she actually paid attention to detail, and she wants you to know that she notices that you put effort into your hair, to your beauty. Her entire attitude just gives me Regina George vibes. Like, don't talk to me, you're a peasant, you're not worthy to compliment me, ew. You can call it boundaries all you want, but at the end of the day, you just come off as rude and a female dog. There are real problems in this world, and trying to bring down someone that is trying to uplift you is probably the least you need to worry about. Like, let's be for real. I really hope you self-reflect and you apologize to this woman, because the way you come across is just plain rude. We all know that curly hair takes time, maintenance, and money. And shit, I would appreciate a compliment, but you know, there's some girls that are like you and they're just rude and they don't want a compliment because they think they're better than everyone else. Props to that security guard, because she is 100% a better person than me, because if you were to turn around and tell me that shit, not only would I take back my compliment, but I would humble you so hard. As a human being, please do better.
People misinterpret this woman's video because she's not saying that white people can never compliment people of color. She's saying that certain comments, even if they sound complimentary, sometimes have racist undertones. If you watch the whole video, she makes it very clear that she's accepting the compliment and appreciates it, but doesn't like the way that this other, presumably white person, is phrasing it.
I'm just saying, I'm telling you how it makes me feel. Everyone's different, but personally, if you like theirs, oh, pretty hair. You don't have to like clarify that it was different each and every time, because it makes me uncomfortable. What made her uncomfortable wasn't the compliment, it was the specificity of the comment about how she changed her hair up, which is something that a lot of black women do. So to have that constantly commented on feels like it has racial undertones to it. It reminds me of when people encounter me and it's like the first time they've met a gay person and they're like, "Yas, queen, slay, you look sickening, sis, go off, do you like RuPaul?" And those comments might seem very harmless and positive, and some gay people might take no offense to them, but for me, constantly hearing those phrases is like, okay, I get it, I'm gay, thank you for your support, you don't have to yas queen me every time I walk into a room. I once met a woman who within 2 minutes of talking to her asked me whether I was a top or a bottom, and for some people they might think, that's just a question, isn't she allowed to ask that? Straight people can't ask gay people anything anymore. You can ask questions, but not within 2 minutes of meeting someone and asking a very personal, invasive question. Videos like this are putting white fragility over black people's feelings. Acting like white people can't compliment people of color based off one video. The creator even said in that video, "This is how I feel, everyone feels differently." She interpreted that encounter as a microaggression. Some other black woman might not have, but we have to acknowledge that that is how she felt and that's what she was sharing. She wasn't making some grand statement about all white people and their relations with black people. She was just sharing a personal moment of strength and setting boundaries for herself, and I commend her for that. It feels like a microaggression. I deal with it all the time at work, and you can make that face.
And it's a hard knock life, but that darn white fragility, I tell you what.
Yes, that darn white fragility, as you demonstrated by making this video. This whole video screams of white fragility. Placing a white person's right to compliment someone else just because it makes them feel good over a black person's feelings, that is peak white fragility. A compliment is designed to make the other person feel good, not to make you feel good because you're being nice to someone else. Complimenting someone else is about making that person feel good and flattering them, not about yourself and making yourself feel good because, oh, you were nice to someone else. We don't get to dictate how someone else receives our compliments, and if they don't take it in the way that we intended, maybe we have to reword it, and that's all that this woman was advocating for.
Having watched what different people had to say about this issue in the stitches, it just gives me that zeal and anxiousness of wanting to read the comments. I mean, what is the gist without reading the comments? Hello? This is definitely the wrong time for you to stop watching this video, so come with me as I share some of the interesting comments. The first comment reads, "I heard it and rolled my eyes so hard because I just know that lady is gonna make it weird the next time. I don't know, seems problematic or insecure. Just take the compliment and keep it moving. Everything ain't gonna be about rest." This one says, "I get it. I'll be mad if someone brought up that I change my hair every time." Okay, now people are noticing a lot from this video and they're trying so hard to connect all the dots so that this whole thing makes sense. Now, here's what someone pointed out. "It seems she knew what was going to happen and started recording. Some people need to feel like a victim. But why would someone think this was staged? Anyway, let me continue reading the comments. Like I said, that there's a lot of backlash from people depending with how they have understood this video. This one thinks the white lady was wrong, and this is what she had to say. You don't know the backstory. If she said it makes her uncomfortable, then damn it, it makes her uncomfortable, period. But again, I have a question for those that think this was staged. Like, how the hell did she know that she was going to be asked about her hair, or someone was going to compliment her? Because I think for it to be staged, then I think this is it's more like a routine where she knows that every time she changes her hair, the security always has to say something. Anyway, maybe it's just me. Okay, so there's this other person who thinks she didn't even directly compliment her hair. She began talking about her like an object, a trinket to another person. Hey, there's just a lot from the comments and just how everyone else is taking this. This other person goes on to say, but no one can tell her how to perceive it. Maybe she's tired of people always mentioning her hair change. She asked her nicely and explained why it felt like a microaggression. She made no accusation. Okay, I want us to pause on this comment and just define this word, microaggression. I want to define it because I've seen it a lot in the comments. Okay, so microaggression can be defined as a statement, action, or incident regarded as an instance of indirect, subtle, or unintentional discrimination against members of a marginalized group as a racial or ethnic minority. I just wanted to point that out. Okay, this comment reads, that comment the woman made towards her wasn't racist. It definitely wasn't called for either. Where there's no experience, there should be no opinion. Microaggression might not be the right term, but it does get annoying. You all are crybabies. She had every right to be rude, and she wasn't even that rude. To be honest, all she said was stop bringing it up. She was tired of it. There's lots and lots of comments. Unfortunately, I can't share all of them. So as we are almost coming to the end of this video, let me just read out one last comment. Okay, this one says, and you know, if the guard was black, there would be no problem. Why does everything have to be about race? She's just trying to compliment. Already this sounds like it's about race, because how would you know that this wouldn't have been a problem if the security lady was black? I feel if you're not comfortable with something, you're just not comfortable regardless of race. Just because we are of the same race, it doesn't mean you can just tell me anything you feel like. You tell me something bad and you expect me to laugh about it because I am black? Hell no. Let's call a spade a spade. Okay, guys, this is all I had for you. Let me hear what you have to say in the comments. So for now, it's a bye-bye, and see you in my next video.